When reflecting on the history of ancient civilizations, it is impossible not to mention Solon, one of the greatest reformers of ancient Greece. His name is closely associated with the establishment of Athenian democracy and revolutionary legal reforms, laying the foundation for long-term stability and prosperity in the city-state. Solon was not only a political leader, but also a poet, philosopher, and visionary thinker ahead of his time. So what made Solon celebrated as a symbol of wisdom and justice in history? Solon's era, around the 6th century BCE, was a tumultuous period in Athens. Society was in crisis, with a growing gap between the rich and poor. Poor farmers unable to repay their debts were enslaved, while power was concentrated in the hands of a few aristocrats. Social conflicts grew increasingly intense, pushing Athens to the brink of collapse. Against this backdrop, Solon emerged as a beacon of hope, offering solutions to a society on the verge of disintegration. What set Solon apart was his comprehensive and humane approach to addressing problems. He did not merely address surface-level conflicts, but delved into the root causes of societal issues. As a reformer, he took bold yet prudent steps. One of his most significant reforms was abolishing debt slavery, restoring freedom and dignity to impoverished laborers. This action not only addressed urgent social issues, but also laid the groundwork for Athens' sustainable development. Solon also established a new legal system that was transparent and fair, replacing the old regulations that primarily served the aristocracy's interests. He emphasized that all citizens, regardless of wealth, should be protected under the law. This was a significant step toward building a society where the rights of every citizen were respected. Furthermore, he encouraged citizen participation in political life, paving the way for democracy to flourish. These reforms brought stability to Athens and laid the foundation for a political system that far surpassed his era. In addition to his role as a leader, Solon was also a poet and philosopher. He used poetry as a medium to convey messages of reform and inspire patriotism. His poetry was not merely lamentations about injustice, but also calls to action, emphasizing the importance of morality and personal responsibility in building a better society. Solon's philosophy of moderation and balance applied not only to politics, but also to all aspects of life. He believed that stability and harmony could only be achieved when individuals practiced self-control and avoided extremes. Solon's influence extended far beyond his lifetime. His reforms and ideas laid the groundwork for Athenian democracy, a political system that profoundly influenced Western civilization and remains relevant in the modern world. He is revered as a symbol of wisdom, justice, and foresight. Solon's legacy is not only found in his political and legal reforms, but also in the profound lessons on ethics, responsibility, and the meaning of serving the community. The story of Solon is a powerful reminder that in any circumstance, wisdom, courage, and a sense of responsibility can change the destiny of a community, even an entire civilization. He demonstrated that, with the right vision and determination, people can overcome all challenges to create positive and lasting change. Solon not only left an indelible mark on history, but also inspired future generations in their ways of living and leading. So what made Solon's thoughts and actions transcend time to become an endless source of inspiration? How could someone from the 6th century BCE leave a legacy that impacts the modern world? Let us delve into the life and legacy of Solon to explore his immense contributions to human history and uncover the valuable lessons he has left for us. Solon, with his foresight and political acumen, implemented groundbreaking reforms to address the social crisis in Athens during the 6th century BCE. These reforms not only aimed to solve immediate issues, but also laid the foundation for Athens' sustainable development in the future. One of Solon's boldest moves was the abolition of debt slavery. At the time, impoverished farmers often borrowed money from the aristocracy to sustain their lives. When they couldn't repay their debts, they lost their land and, worse, became slaves to their creditors. This not only created severe social inequality, but also weakened the economy and caused political instability. Recognizing this danger, Solon enacted a revolutionary law, He freed all those enslaved due to debt and restored their land ownership. This action not only returned freedom and dignity to the impoverished laborers, but also restored their faith in the political and social system. Solon also introduced a series of reforms to restructure the political power system. He changed how power was distributed in society, basing it on income rather than lineage. Before Solon's time, political power was entirely concentrated in the hands of the aristocracy. Under his leadership, society was divided into 4 classes based on income, with political participation allocated accordingly. This opened opportunities for lower classes to engage in political life, reducing inequality and ensuring diverse voices were heard. Athens' legal system was also comprehensively reformed by Solon. He established a new set of transparent and fair laws to replace the old regulations that had only served the interests of the aristocracy. Solon's laws were documented and made publicly accessible so that all citizens could understand and adhere to them. This not only minimized abuses of power, but also created a legal system in which everyone was equal before the law. Solon also established the Council of 400, a legislative body to ensure that all decisions reflected the community's will, not just the interests of a powerful few. In addition to restructuring power and legal systems, Solon introduced economic policies to promote long-term development. He encouraged craftsmanship and trade while restricting the export of grain to ensure domestic supply. These reforms not only helped Athens overcome the crisis, but also laid the groundwork for its robust economic development, turning the city-state into a commercial and cultural hub in the region. Another noteworthy aspect of Solon's reforms was the humanitarian spirit and philosophy of moderation he applied. He always sought balance, avoiding extreme policies that could provoke resistance from any side. He neither sided entirely with the wealthy nor the poor, but worked to create a harmonious system where all classes' interests were considered. This perspective not only earned him widespread support, but also established a sustainable political model. Solon's reforms were not only significant in his time, but also had a profound influence throughout history. They laid the groundwork for the development of Athenian democracy, a political system that inspired many Western civilizations later on. Furthermore, the principles he introduced regarding justice, transparency, and responsibility remain relevant in the modern world. In summary, Solon's social and political reforms not only addressed short-term issues, but also laid the foundation for a just and sustainable society. He was not only a brilliant leader, but also a symbol of courage, wisdom, and compassion. The lessons from Solon's reforms remain relevant, reminding us that with determination and vision, people can overcome all challenges to build a better world. Solon is not only renowned for his social reforms, but also remembered as a great legislator who laid the groundwork for the Athenian democracy. He recognized that to maintain social stability and promote long-term development, a transparent and just legal system was essential. Thus, Solon introduced profound and sustainable legal reforms. Before Solon's time, the legal system in Athens was dominated by the aristocracy, who wielded power to serve their personal interests. Laws were neither clearly documented nor consistently applied, leaving the working class voiceless and oppressed. Solon, with his reformist mindset, sought to change this. He drafted and published a new legal code that was transparent and accessible, ensuring that all citizens were treated equally under the law. This was a significant step forward, transforming the law into an instrument of justice rather than a tool of power. One of Solon's significant innovations was the establishment of the Council of 400, a legislative body representing all social classes. This council was tasked with reviewing and approving proposed laws before their implementation. In doing so, Solon created a mechanism to ensure that power was not concentrated in the hands of a few, but was distributed and monitored. He also encouraged citizen participation in decision-making, laying the foundation for modern democratic ideas. Solon's legal system included measures to protect the rights of the most vulnerable members of society, including farmers, merchants, and free laborers. He enacted regulations to curb the abuse of power and promote cooperation among social classes. For instance, Solon capped interest rates to prevent usury and ensured that no one could lose their land or personal freedom simply because they couldn't repay a debt. These measures not only stabilized the economy, but also fostered trust among different segments of society. A distinctive feature of Solon's legal framework was its flexibility and adaptability to societal changes. He understood that laws must reflect the needs of the times and the interests of the community. Therefore, Solon established a mechanism that allowed citizens to contribute suggestions and propose amendments to the laws as needed. This not only encouraged public participation, but also ensured that the legal system remained relevant to the realities of the time. To ensure transparency and fairness, Solon decreed that all citizens, regardless of wealth, had the right to access the judicial system. He established people's courts, where cases were judged by individuals elected from the community. This not only minimized abuses of power, but also created a legal system where citizens could defend their rights themselves. This principle is one of the fundamental tenets of modern democracy, where laws serve the entire community, not just the elite. Solon's legal reforms marked a turning point in Athenian history, transforming the city-state from a fractured society into a prosperous and harmonious community. The legal system he established not only helped Athens overcome its crises, but also laid the foundation for the development of one of the greatest civilizations in history. The values of fairness, transparency, and personal responsibility that Solon championed remain relevant in today's society. In summary, Solon's establishment of the Athenian constitution was not only a monumental achievement in his time, but also a lasting legacy for humanity. He demonstrated that by building a just and transparent legal system, societies could achieve meaningful and sustainable change. Solon's legacy extends far beyond Athens, serving as an inspiration to the world and reminding us that justice and community participation are the cornerstones of a civilized and progressive society. Solon was not only recognized as a great legislator, but also as a symbol of moderation and balance in his philosophy of life. He understood that extremism, in any form, could lead to instability and conflict within society. Therefore, he consistently promoted moderation and ethics, both in politics and personal life, as a foundation for building a harmonious and sustainable society. One of the key philosophies Solon pursued was the importance of balancing diverse interests within society. During his time, Athens was deeply divided between the wealthy aristocracy and impoverished laborers. Instead of aligning with either group, Solon chose the path of moderation, introducing reforms that sought to reconcile the interests of both sides. He abolished debts for the poor, freed those enslaved because of debt, and avoided confiscating the wealth of the aristocracy to maintain stability and prevent conflict. Solon emphasized that morality and personal responsibility were crucial factors in building a strong society. He believed that a society could only develop sustainably when individuals lived responsibly for themselves and their community. Solon's poetry often conveyed profound moral lessons, encouraging people to live honestly, fairly, and to strive for self-improvement. He once wrote, "Do not let greed blind you, for wealth does not bring happiness. Only a tranquil soul can achieve that." Solon's spirit of moderation extended beyond political reforms and permeated every aspect of life. He advocated for balance between work and rest, personal ambition and communal benefit. Solon believed that people should avoid excessive desires and learn to be content with what they had. This philosophy was not merely a way of living, but served as a guiding principle that helped Athens overcome crises and build a harmonious community. Another important aspect of Solon's philosophy was his faith in humanity's capacity for self-improvement. He believed that no one was born perfect, but that everyone could become better through education, self-awareness, and relentless effort. This philosophy inspired the people of Athens in his time and left a valuable lesson for future generations about the importance of personal growth and social responsibility. Solon's ethical spirit was also evident in the way he implemented his reforms. Despite holding significant power, he did not use it for personal gain or to strengthen his position. Instead, he consistently prioritized the welfare of the community, acting with integrity and dedication. After completing his legislative work, Solon voluntarily left Athens for 10 years to avoid pressure from citizens to alter the laws he had enacted. This act clearly demonstrated his commitment and responsibility toward the community. Solon's philosophy of moderation and ethics not only addressed the urgent issues of Athens but also laid the foundation for sustainable societal values. The lessons he left behind remain highly relevant in the modern world, where extremism and injustice are still significant challenges. Solon reminds us that only through moderation, respect for ethics, and a sense of responsibility can humanity build a just and harmonious society. In summary, Solon's spirit of moderation and ethics represents a priceless legacy, not just for Athens, but for all of humanity. He demonstrated that balance and morality are not only idealistic values, but also essential keys to creating positive and lasting change. In today's world, Solon's philosophy continues to inspire, reminding us that, no matter the difficulties, humans can overcome challenges through wisdom, compassion, and a sense of duty. Solon was not only a brilliant legislator, but also a profound poet and philosopher. To him, poetry was not merely an art form, but a tool for conveying moral, political, and social ideas. His unique combination of roles as a poet and thinker helped Solon build a timeless legacy that touched both the hearts and minds of people. Solon's poetry vividly reflects the values he pursued throughout his life. He used poetry to critique social injustices, denounce greed, and promote personal responsibility. His verses were not merely lamentations about the state of the world, but also carried powerful messages calling for action to create a more just society. A notable example of this is his emphasis on balance and moderation. Avoid extremes, for in the middle path lies safety and sustainability. Through his poetry, Solon also expressed the philosophy of life he deeply believed in: the harmony between individuals and the community. He stressed that a society could only flourish when its people lived honestly, ethically, and shared responsibilities with one another. Solon's poems were not just artistic expressions, but moral guides for many generations, reminding people of the importance of compassion and justice. As a philosopher, Solon sought deeper truths about human nature and society. He did not stop at establishing laws, but encouraged others to reflect on the meanings of justice, responsibility, and happiness. Solon's philosophy centered on the balance between individuals and the community, between rights and responsibilities. He believed that a society could only thrive when individuals understood and accepted their roles in building a harmonious community. A distinctive feature of Solon's thought was his ability to combine reason and emotion in presenting profound ideas. He persuaded not only through logical arguments, but also through emotionally resonant imagery in his poetry. This made his ideas appealing intellectually and emotionally, driving positive change. Solon's role as a poet and philosopher was also evident in how he used words to build unity and inspire patriotism. His poems often celebrated the beauty and greatness of Athens, while reminding citizens of their responsibility to protect and develop the city-state. Solon's work reached beyond the educated elite, speaking directly to laborers and poor farmers, inspiring hope and faith in a better future. The poetic and philosophical legacy of Solon influenced not only his contemporaries but also subsequent generations. The lessons he imparted inspired many philosophers and political leaders, from Aristotle to Enlightenment thinkers. Solon's ideas not only laid the groundwork for Athenian democracy, but also contributed to the development of Western philosophy, with enduring values of justice, responsibility, and balance still relevant in modern society. The role of Solon as a poet and philosopher not only enriched his life and career, but also offered invaluable lessons to humanity. He demonstrated that through art and philosophy, individuals can convey noble ideas and inspire social change. Solon left behind a legacy that went beyond law and politics, one of intellect and spirit, becoming an enduring symbol of the harmonious integration of art, philosophy, and practical action. Solon, regarded as one of the greatest sages of ancient Greece, left an enduring legacy not only in the field of law, but also in philosophy, literature, and political thought. His influence transcended his era, establishing values and principles that remain relevant in modern society. Solon's reforms and ideas became the foundation for the development of Athenian democracy, inspiring generations across the globe. One of Solon's most prominent contributions was laying the groundwork for Athenian democracy. Before his time, Athens was dominated by a wealthy aristocracy, leaving the lower classes virtually voiceless in political matters. Solon's bold reforms altered the power structure, enabling all social classes to participate in political life. He established the Council of 400, a representative legislative body, and implemented a transparent legal system where all were protected under the law. These measures not only stabilized Athens, but also laid the foundation for a democratic system that many modern nations continue to emulate. Beyond politics, Solon made a profound impact on philosophy and culture. His poetry contained moral teachings and deep philosophical reflections, emphasizing the importance of moderation, fairness, and personal responsibility. He encouraged people to live simply, harmoniously, and avoid excessive desires. These views inspired great philosophers like Aristotle and Plato, and became an integral part of Western philosophical tradition. Another significant aspect of Solon's enduring influence was his ability to connect law with morality. He established legal codes that not only ensured fairness, but also reflected ethical values and the common good of society. Solon believed that a society could only prosper if its laws were founded on justice and consensus. This approach created a sustainable legal system and fostered trust among different social classes, a vital element for maintaining stability and progress. Solon's influence extended beyond the borders of Athens, reaching other civilizations. During the Renaissance, European thinkers drew inspiration from Solon's reforms to build more equitable political systems. Even in the modern era, his ideas continue to be studied and applied in areas such as governance, law, and education. Solon's vision of a just and harmonious society was also reflected in his economic policies. He introduced measures to stabilize Athens' economy, such as promoting trade and crafts while controlling debt and financial exploitation. These policies addressed immediate challenges while laying the groundwork for Athens' long-term economic development. However, Solon's greatest legacy may be his spirit of reform and his courage in addressing the challenges of his time. He was unafraid of change or opposition and always prioritized the community's welfare. This made him an ideal model of leadership and a source of inspiration for those daring enough to think and act to transform the world. In conclusion, Solon's influence extended beyond law and politics to numerous facets of human life. He left a valuable lesson that justice, responsibility, and courage are essential for building a better society. His legacy is not confined to the past, but serves as a beacon guiding humanity in its quest for justice and peace. As a symbol of wisdom and fairness, Solon remains etched in history as one of the greatest leaders and thinkers the world has ever known. Solon, with extraordinary intellect and the courage to implement reforms, left behind a legacy that not only changed Athens' destiny, but also shaped human thought. His contributions did not stop at laying the foundation for democracy, but extended to fostering moral and social values that we still cherish today. Solon's greatest legacy is the connection between law and morality. He not only established fair rules, but also laid the groundwork for a harmonious society where every individual has the opportunity to participate and contribute. His resolution of social and economic conflicts in Athens demonstrated that courage and wisdom could overcome challenges to build a prosperous community, a profound lesson modern leaders can still learn from. Solon's journey is not merely a story of reform, but a symbol of innovation and relentless creativity. He reminded us that progress requires the courage to ask questions and embrace change. From abolishing debt slavery to creating a transparent legal system, he proved that justice is not just an ideal, but a reality achievable through action. His ideas continue to live on in philosophy, literature, and politics. Solon's poems were not merely expressions of emotion, but a means to convey profound social messages. He used words to inspire patriotism, honesty, and personal accountability. These values, further developed by philosophers like Aristotle and Plato, became the cornerstone of Western philosophy. A shining aspect of Solon's legacy is the inspiration he provides to future generations. From the Renaissance to modern times, thinkers and leaders worldwide have found encouragement in his reforms and ideas. Solon showed that change is not only necessary, but possible when approached with courage and vision. Solon also serves as a reminder that, in any era, the spirit of reform and fairness remains a guiding light for humanity. He was not only an exceptional leader, but also a symbol of determination and compassion. His actions improved the lives of Athens' citizens and opened new horizons for thought and knowledge. In summary, Solon was a great figure not only for what he accomplished, but for the values he left behind. His legacy is a powerful reminder that fairness, courage, and intellect are essential for creating a better society. In a world of constant change, Solon's spirit continues to inspire, reminding us that every individual, with determination and wisdom, can make a profound difference. Solon remains a lighthouse guiding those seeking justice, harmony, and progress in life.